Hi, my name is Andre Jones, and just want to welcome everyone to this awesome presentation on how to adapt and rebuild your small business during COVID-19. I'm a business development officer with the bank and been with the bank for 5 years and in the banking industry for 10 years and cover the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. And so we're excited to come to you with you today and go over this presentation to really help your business grow and expand through some of these challenging times. And just so you can have an idea of what we're going to be covering today, we're going to go over four main parts of the presentation that we believe will be most beneficial for you and your small business. The first thing we're going to look at is insight. We're going to look at the insight of the industry. We're going to look at insight as far as your business is concerned, and having the ability to really dive in and grasp what's going on right now in this present business environment. The second thing we're going to take a look at is business strategy, right? What's changed from how you used to do business prior to COVID-19 happening? What's going on in the environment? What's going on in the market? And so we're going to dig a little bit into business strategy. What do you need to pivot and do differently that you were not doing before? And then the third thing we're going to take a look at is connections. What connections do you have in the industry? That can be through mentors, it can be through colleagues. We're going to give you some ideas on how to build your connections and make them stronger during this time in the pandemic. And then the last piece that we're going to look at, which everybody loves to talk about, is show me the money. We're going to look at the money, how you can increase your cash flow. We're going to give you a ton of resources that are going to assist you in identifying probably outside sources where you can get more money to kind of boost your business up during this time. So we have a great presentation set for you. And I'm going to kick it over to my wonderful colleague, Camille. Camille, I'm going to kick it over to you to talk about insights.
Andre, thank you. Yes, my name is Camille Simpkins, and I, like Andre, am a business development officer here at Wells Fargo. When we talk about insights, the first thing that I want to bring to your attention is that this too shall pass. It's been my guiding
Yeah,
principle during this whole pandemic. And as far reaching as this may sound, the past does give us insight into the future.
yeah,
We all know this to be true. In witness of the dot-com bubble and the Great Recession brought on by the mortgage crisis, resilience is possible through pivoting the design of your business. Fluid action towards the needs of your business community is necessary to regrow and or maintain your business.
and I think that's so on point, Camille. I mean, we talk about insight. I mean, communicating, even if something simple as a digital newsletter with your customers, right? I think customers need more insight now than ever because prior to COVID, people kind of went on and did their own thing, but the ability to communicate is so important. When we look at business strategy, let's talk about business strategy for a little bit, real quickly. A couple of key points that we have here in the presentation is really list how your customers have changed. You know, talk about what's different. You know, a lot of customers these days, maybe you have to do contactless. Everybody's doing something different as far as where they don't have to take cash into the business and they want to kind of scan it through merchant service. But I think coming up with a business strategy that's different now as opposed to before the pandemic is so critical and so important. And really revisiting that business proposition, you know, maybe how you did business before as far as what the value was is different. Maybe speed now is your new business proposition, you know, where customers don't have to necessarily come into stores. Camilla, and she has a story she can share, but I have a customer who right now they're a restaurant, and instead of people coming in because we know a lot of restaurants have been closed, they've totally revalued and repackaged how they create value to the customer by bringing the food out to the customer curbside. And that was an adjustment for them, but they had to change their business strategy. So we want to encourage you to take a look at your business proposition and see how you can add value to the customer and still be profitable at the same time. Camille, I think you had a story you were sharing with me earlier about business strategy.
Yes, and you bring up a great point when we talk about updating the business strategy. Your value proposition should really reflect how you plan to pivot. It should be relevant to the type of outreach activity. And in crafting your value proposition, ask yourself, what do your customers value most about you? Why will they decide or have decided to become a customer? And how to improve your process to attract new customers. I have a dental practice that was experiencing turnover because their dental assistants were uncomfortable with in-house appointments. So what the dentist decided to do was to make house calls to senior citizens, the at-risk population who are at risk at contracting COVID-19. So, in pivoting her business, she decided to um, invest in equipment that would allow for her to do in home visits. She provides them with the negative COVID testing for herself prior to that appointment, but it's giving her an opportunity to still remain, um, still influence her industry, but more important, to still stay relevant with her customer base, and more importantly, provide a humanistic approach to those that need the service but aren't comfortable venturing outside of their homes because of their accessibility to COVID 19. And, it's been doing great for her. And she had to realize that there needed to be a change in her structure, and she utilized social media in order to get the word out there. She, did a monthly newsletter so that all of her customers were aware of what was taking place. Those, can choose to have the service in their homes, and those can choose not to. So she definitely pivoted and is increasing her bottom line, although she was challenged by, employee turnover in the beginning.
I love that, Camille, and I think that's so. I think that's a great example when we look at a business pivoting and adjusting their proposition and value statement and looking at new strategies. And again, I always tell clients, run it by some of your other employees. Employees that are in business also have the heartbeat of the customer base, or run it by family members, something as simple as that, or run it by other colleagues. I think that's so critical and so important. But I think the key is not to be stuck in an old model during this time, and be flexible and be open to adjustment and making change. So I think that's a phenomenal example, which was a nice segue into our next point. The number three is connections. I think connections is huge, and connections can come in all different forms, shapes, and fashions. I think the top one would be a mentor, and we always suggest entrepreneurs to get a mentor. Find someone who has possibly been through some tough and some challenging times. Also find someone who may be a colleague. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone who has bigger profits than you, but maybe they're just a colleague and they may do a piece of the business a little bit more strategic than you do. But we always encourage people, find a mentor, get connected, because one thing I can assure you, that during this time, you cannot get through this by yourself. There needs to be partnership and collaboration. I think is more important now, more than ever. Which also, Kim, I know we were talking earlier about social media, whether it's LinkedIn or Twitter, building some kind of social media presence. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yes, definitely. So, one of the things that you want to do is create a list of your top customers and also your competitors.
Oh, that's a good
It's
one.
important for you
Competitors.
to understand, correct. It's important for you to understand the position that your competitors are currently in, because it can allow for you to either supplement or enhance your offering. It's okay to take a look at their customer reviews. And in reviewing their customer reviews, you can then speak to what your company's strength is and maybe enhance a particular area of your business that your competitor may have challenges with. And share this with your network. There is, like Andre said, LinkedIn. More of my customers are starting to use Instagram Live. It
Yeah.
gives you an opportunity to reach a larger audience. One that I've just started to utilize is called Clubhouse, and it's fairly new. It's in its beta testing stage. You have to be invited, but it allows for you to enter into these chat rooms to discuss some of the challenges that you're having within your business, and then also recognize and celebrate some of your successes. So it's okay to understand what your competition is doing, because it will just propel you closer to what makes you stand out from the competition. So, not just your customers, but your competition as well.
I love it. Celebrate those wins, right? I love it. And a lot of businesses forget, to celebrate the wins. Let people see you celebrating the wins. Do a post on Instagram. LinkedIn has definitely been a super game changer. Like you said, Clubhouse is new
Yes.
on the scene, but I hear a lot of great things about that as well. The last thing that we're going to talk about that we believe is going to help you really be successful during this time, which everybody loves to talk about, is capital consideration, right? Everybody likes to talk about where's the money.
Yes.
But one of the things
Where's the
that
money?
where's the money? Show me the money. One of the things Camille and I both have seen is that while a lot of businesses may think they need to get a loan, they can do some things to improve the current cash flow that they're experiencing. Maybe it's saving and not outsourcing so much, or maybe it's getting paid earlier, and not waiting for payment, maybe ACH or using treasury management. So we always encourage businesses before they go and try to get a loan and think that's the only solution. Look internal. There are things that you can do internal. There's savings that you can implement internally that can help you also increase cash flow. Camille, you want to jump in on that? I know we talked about a couple of points as well.
Yes, and you mentioned this earlier when we talked about, having a mentor. Your relationship with your bank should not just be about products and services. There
That's
should
great.
be weekly, monthly, and quarterly touch points where you're discussing industry outlook and trends. What's important about having a relationship with your bank that allows for you to get up to date and real time information and resources. So, when you're looking to decide what your efficiency control should look like, those conversations with your bank will allow for you to look at others in your industry and what they have done to increase their bottom line. Because sometimes at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it's not about additional funding sources. Sometimes you are your best source, and it's just a matter of tweaking some of the ways in which you take payments, some of the ways in which you make your payments. That would definitely increase your cash flow opportunities.
I think that's awesome. And I think the last point that we can kind of really bring it home is, wellsfargoworks.com is a great site that you can go to get resources. We know everybody
Yes,
wants more information on the PPP. You can go there as well. The SBA is a great website that you can go to get more
that's
information.
true.
So, again, when you go to wellsfargoworks.com, there's a ton of information and links on our site to help you kind of navigate through this. Well, we hope this was helpful and we hope it was beneficial. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.